Hi, welcome back to the CollegeAdvisor.com YouTube channel. My name is Finn.
And I'm Ramona, and today we're going to be talking about what high school juniors and seniors should be worrying about for the college admissions process.
And if you're a freshman or sophomore, do not worry. Last week we produced a video all about what y'all need to be worrying about for the college admissions process. So go ahead and check that out, and then come back to this video, because it is useful.
Okay, so Finn, really quickly, how is junior and senior year different from freshman and sophomore year?
Yeah, so junior and senior year is where high school kind of like gets intense. Your academics really start to like skyrocket in terms of their difficulty. You know, sophomore year is often like regarded as kind of like the easiest year, and then junior year is often regarded as like the hardest year. So you kind of go from like the shallow end right into the deep end. But junior and senior year are really the times when you actually want to start critically thinking about your college applications and your college process. I mean, you've narrowed down a little bit on your extracurriculars in your sophomore year if you watched our previous video, but like this junior, senior year is really where you want to go hard on them. Because this is the time that colleges are really looking at.
So, like Finn was saying, junior year is arguably the most difficult year because not only are you focusing on school where your schedule will be the hardest it has ever been, but there are a ton of things not in your school outside of your school on your timeline that you should be worrying about. So, for instance, last video for freshmen and sophomores, we mentioned studying for the PSATs, but even if you take the PSATs your sophomore and freshman year, you can't qualify for what's called the National Merit Scholarship until you take it junior year. And for those of you that don't know, basically the PSATs is like the SAT, except the difference is everyone enrolls to take it in October, and the highest performing juniors have a shot at the National Merit Scholarship, which is this big scholarship at a bunch of different colleges that's completely merit-based. There's just a lot of like big name titles out there. For instance, my junior year, I was like trying to become a Questbridge College Prep Scholar, and a lot of junior summer programs happen as well. So you typically find out about them in the fall, then you apply for them in the spring, and then you go in your junior summer. So it's like all these deadlines that you have to be aware of that are kind of like not as big as a college admissions deadline, but still on your radar because these really help you later on with the process. And then finally, I know that you're probably really stressed about academics at this time, but junior year, you really need to focus on not only studying for your standardized tests, but also taking them early. So typically you'll start studying maybe sophomore summer, junior fall, and you'll take your first ACT or SAT junior spring, just because the longer you put off those standardized tests, the more you'll have to do senior year, and you really do not want to be taking your SATs, ACTs at the same time as like you're writing your essays. The
only other thing with SAT, ACT stuff is that you do, like, some students like are like, oh, I'm gonna get ahead of the curve. I'm doing the best Debbie Ryan.
The Debbie Ryan. Radio Rebel.
Like, some students are trying to get ahead of the curve, and so they're like, oh, I'm gonna take the SAT in freshman year or sophomore year. And it's like, well, yes, you can do that, but colleges really are only, again, it's kind of to that the idea of colleges are trying to imagine like who you'll be on their campus. And so taking that in freshman and sophomore year doesn't give them as good a sense of like who you are when you're applying. And this goes for everything from extracurriculars all the way to test scores. Plus, yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
Sophomore.
Oh,
like,
oh my god. Yeah. And also just adding on to that, if you're like, I'm gonna take this sophomore year, and you're like low-key not prepared, that means you're gonna have to retake it. And let me tell you about retaking it. You do not want a ton of scores, because some schools have policies where they say send in all your test scores, for instance, Stanford. And so if you like failed it 2 times before you did well, then like not only does it cost a lot of money to sign up for the SAT to send out those score reports, it's like so expensive if you don't qualify for like the test waivers, but then like you'll be sending like things to colleges and they'll see that you didn't do as well the first time. And again, there are some schools that don't require all score reports, thank God. Speaking from personal experience, thank God. I was like really ambitious and I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I didn't study and I did horribly, and then I had to like deal with like having that on my application, and I just felt so guilty. So that's another reason why you should try and take it after you've taken a lot of classes at school and things like that. If you're kind of feeling kind of confused, don't worry, we'll have like another video specifically just for SATs, ACTs, standardized testing later, so stay tuned for that.
So, speaking of taking your standardized standardized testing in the fall, junior year is the year where you're probably going to be taking the most AP exams, and it's also the time when the AP exams for juniors count the most.
I feel like a lot of people don't know why AP exams are important, so if you could speak to why you should take them.
Yeah. So AP exams are important because they kind of give the admissions officers a sense of like how you compare to your peers, right? If you get an A in a class, you get that A relative to that class, you know, and some classes and some teachers and some schools are really, really rigorous, and some are less rigorous, right? Some are less rigorous. If you're taking a class that's like an AP class, you want to be taking that AP exam to show that like whatever class you took was up to the rigor of the exam that you're taking. The other thing that admissions officers do is that if they see an AP class on your transcript, they expect to receive an AP score. And basically what that means is that if you don't send the AP score for an AP class that you've taken, they assume that you got a 1 or a 2.
Oh, and also really quickly, I feel like we don't address financial aid like specifically on this channel, but I think AP exams are like really expensive. They're like $60 or $70, and if you're really worried about
91.
that, 91. Oh,
they were 91 if we wanted to take them without taking
they're like not cheap is what we're trying to say. So if you're worried about that, you can talk to your counselor and see if you qualify for the $3 AP exams, because I cannot imagine, like I took 5 APs junior year, like I could not imagine shelling out $500 for tests I may or may not pass. So that's something you can look into. Also, SAT fee waivers, ACT fee waivers.
When you're applying to college, you also have to pay all these fees. So like if you're eligible for fee waivers, like get fee waivers on the application fees as well. There are a lot of steps have been done to like make an effort towards making the college application process a little bit more like financially accessible. And so if you need that, like really truly do apply for it. The worst thing they can say to you is no, right? In freshman and sophomore year, hopefully you've taken your time to kind of like settle into your community, settle into the clubs that you're really interested in. And in junior and senior year, this is a time where you can really take advantage of some of the leadership opportunities that those clubs offer you. So if there's like a presidency for a club, run for the presidency. You know, if you're like, that's too much, and you just like want to be treasurer or secretary, like those are also really great positions that show colleges that you are invested and you like can show some initiative without you needing to be like, you know, the head of the club.
The founder. But if you do want to found a club, go for it.
Yeah, if you do want to found a club, also go for it. Like, this is a great time to assess your school's needs, right? Like,
assess their needs, yes.
Exactly. Does your school, like, I don't know, like, I started an ultimate frisbee club.
Yes!
Because my school didn't have one and I wanted to play frisbee with my friends. So we did. This is a great opportunity to, like, now that you know your school, and, like, really know your school, this is a great time to just, you know, engage, and engage hard.
Anything you do should come from a place of passion and initiative. We say this time and time again, but I feel like as advisors, we get the question a lot, like, do I have to be the president of my club to get in? And it's like, it's not that you have to be the president of your club, it's just that a lot of the qualities associated with leadership are really good qualities that a person can have, and you don't necessarily need the title to prove that you are an ambitious person with drive and leadership. It's just like those positions put you in the best place to do so, but you absolutely don't need to be president of Model UN to prove that like you are great at being a delegate or you're great at doing like the tasks that your clubs assign you and showing those things.
Demonstrate your grit and your quality of character. So like, although you don't need to be like a president of you know, every single club, do make sure that you're doing things that are exciting to you and that do show that initiative and do show that leadership, or kind of like whatever you want to focus on. It doesn't have to be initiative, it doesn't have to be leadership, but you know, show that you're interesting, show that you're a person, and show that you're someone who colleges ultimately like want to have on their campus. So for junior, spring, and summer, this is the start of the college application timeline. The Common App opens August 1st. So this is like the time where you want to start thinking about what schools you're interested in, thinking about the Common App essay that you're going to write, right? You're going to write a personal statement. We'll get to that in
another video. Stay tuned.
It should be kind of in the back of your mind. I mean, if you're watching our videos, I kind of assume that it's in the back of your mind, but do know that that's when things like start to kick up. And as you're like in the beginning of your senior year, all of the deadlines come very, very, very quickly. Which, side note, plug, CollegeAdvisor.com does have a free app that like helps you track all your deadlines. So there will probably be like a link in our bio or something. You can go click it, or app.collegeadvisor.com, I think. You can go sign up for the app and it'll help you track all your deadlines. So then the last point on this though is that you want to ask for your letters of recommendation early, and you want to do so in person, and email will not cut it, and
email will not cut it.
It will not cut it. It will not cut it. It just won't. And then teachers get so many requests for these letters of recommendation, so you want to request that actually before the school year ends. I guess it's a little late to be telling you that now, but you really want to like ask over Zoom or ask in person if that's like within your means, for those letters of rec. And then we'll do an in-depth video on letters of
rec letters, yeah.
But they are actually incredibly important for the college application process. They tell an admissions officer so much.
Yeah.
So do make sure to ask, do make sure to like start thinking about those. And then, okay, Mona, I have a question for you. Question. Why did I ask it like that? I'm asking normally. Mona, okay, I have a question.
Hit me.
What was your biggest regret from junior year?
My biggest regret junior year was kind of underestimating the whole standardized testing thing and not really preparing for it as much as I should have been. And it took doing really poorly on my PSAT and doing really, really poorly on my first SAT attempt to realize that like I should actually be studying for this. Like I don't know, it just didn't hit me because I was like, oh, I've like succeeded in high school, like I'll be prepared.
Yeah.
But then I opened that question book and I was like, I was not ready. And because I didn't do well, like the first time that I took those tests, and my first tries were like pretty late, it was like really, really stressful, grinding, like cramming every weekend, taking practice tests, and then I took my test like really late senior fall, like I think the latest possible time you could take it, and it was just so stressful because I was like, I do not have a second chance after I take this.
Senior fall is like pretty much the deadline for your applications. You'll have one early application deadline, and typically that's in November, and then you'll have a regular application deadline, and that's like in the winter. You're probably thinking like, oh, it's the summer, like I don't have to worry, those are so far away. They come so fast. It's a lot of work for each college application, and so it can feel as though they kind of sneak up on you, and then you have all of this work to do before you apply to college. So we want to help you make sure that that doesn't happen.
Another thing senior year is, since you are applying to those colleges, it's probably a good idea to know where you're applying, why you're applying to them. If you can, try and visit college campuses either like very early your senior fall or like late junior summer, because you don't really know like what the college is like until you visit it. And I'm also here to tell you, if like visiting college campuses can be very expensive, which is why a lot of colleges actually have what's called a fly-in program, which you apply to your senior fall. And what it is you apply to these, you show interest for the college before like even applying to the college itself, and if you get accepted, they will fly you out for free to that college. You spend like a weekend there and you just meet a bunch of people, and if you visit that if you get into the fly-in program, you meet the admissions officers. They actually find out who you are and they tag that on your application. So there's a bunch, we'll link a list down below.
I did not know about that.
Yeah, I know,
That's
it's like so niche, like no one knows about it, but this college will fly you out for a weekend. And the like UPenn even straight up told us, they were like, if you do the Penn Early Exploration Program, PEEP, then it'll say that you did PEEP on your application. So like if you apply like to Penn, like they'll know that you visited and that you had like previously gotten into PEEP, which is really, really cool. These are for under-resourced students, so you qualify if you qualify for financial aid or if you are from an underrepresented background, so be sure to keep on the lookout for that if you qualify for it. And another thing, senior year, the fall is stressful because you're applying to colleges, but a lot of the times people forget that something that's a part of your college application is your full senior year schedule, which means that you cannot stop like the grind once you hit senior year just because you're applying to colleges, because you have to submit your schedule. No senior slump. You have to take rigorous courses again, so they can see that you're still continuing that like level of commitment your senior year. So really quickly, Finn, what was your biggest regret senior year, or what is something that you wish you did differently?
Yeah. I don't know, I've been thinking about that, and I don't know if I have an answer. I am actually pretty happy with how I did my senior year.
Wow! Well, do you have anything for junior year then? Or like just the application process in general, like that timeline?
When I was applying to college, I got into Harvard early, but I had just kind of like not worked on any other applications. I just kind of like, you know, did my application to Harvard, and then I had like 10 other applications that I was trying to do, and I just didn't do them. And so it was really lucky for me that I did actually I got into Harvard. But if I hadn't, I would have like had to come up with these 10 applications, you know, in the last like,
for you.
2 weeks. Would not have been good. Wait, you have a story?
Yeah, so you're saying like I would have had to do everything the last 2 weeks. Listen, let me tell you right now that Finn is speaking the truth, because I applied early decision to Penn, like UPenn, which was binding. I got in ED. It was binding, but I couldn't attend, so I withdrew from Penn like the day after Christmas, like December 26th. All the admissions offices were closed, but I like sent in my withdrawal, and then I had to finish like all those applications by January 1st, January 5th, and it's like, if at the same time I was preparing my ED application, I was preparing like all my other college applications, I would have been a lot less stressed that time period, and I probably would have done a lot better on some of my other applications. Like, I was honestly really lucky. Yeah, it's like my college application journey has been a wild ride, which is why I'm here to answer all your existential crisis questions. But like Finn was saying, is like, if you're applying to a school early, you're not a shoo-in. Things can happen even if you do get in, so make sure that you like give it your all until like the final deadlines in February.
Mona, I am shook. I am extremely shook. Overall, for like both your junior and your senior year, like one of the big things is just like stay organized, stay on top of your life. For those who like come from a theater background, like stage manage your life, right? You know, there are a few really great tools. Like get into Google Calendars. You know, Gmail can be used for a really wide range of different things.
Spreadsheets, even if you just have a Google Doc where you write things down, but the idea is to have it somewhere. And then finally, enjoy your senior and junior years. While high school can be stressful, it's still high school, and try and make the most of it. Take tons of photos, go to prom, or not, like, or if you're not into that, don't go to prom.
That's okay to not go to prom.
It's okay if it's okay if you don't go to prom. But if you've been like itching to go to a football game because you've never been, this is your time. You know, make memories with your friends, make new friends. Whatever you do, just make sure you enjoy.
One is silver and one is gold.
What?
That's what I was taught in like primary school. Make new friends. I'm not gonna sing. We've had too much singing already.
We've had too much.
Yeah, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold.
Oh, I did not know that. That is some like Dragon Tales like voodoo you got going on.
That's from first grade. Anyway, just really excavating.
Excavated.
Thank you so much for making it to the end. We're here to stay, so subscribe, get comfy, and come vibe with us.
And don't forget, if you're a freshman or sophomore or no one, check out our last video. And as the college application season is approaching, we'll be doing a bunch of videos on essay writing, what the Common App even is, test prep, and more. So be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. We also have a series of free webinars and blogs about applying to college you can check out, link down below. And don't forget to follow us on TikTok and Instagram for exclusive content at Join CollegeAdvisor. Bye!
Hey, and welcome back to the CollegeAdvisor. Sorry, Brandon.
This is our 4th time, Finn. Come on. Come on now.
I'm sorry, Ramona.
Do not full name me, Finnegan. Well, high school juniors and seniors.
Thank you so much for making me...
Finn, you came up with this ending.
I know, and I can't even say it.